Welcome to another episode of the Vegan Pulse. I am your host, Nancy Arenas. Today, my guest is Judy McCoy Carman. She is the author of Homo Ahimsa, Who We Really Are and How We Are Going to Save the World, Peace to All Beings, Veggie Soup for the Chicken Soul, recipient of the Henry Spira Grassroots Animal Activist Award, and founder of the Animal Peace Prayer Flag Project. Judy is also co-founder of Animal Outreach of Kansas, Circle of Compassion, Prayer Circle for Animals on Facebook, Interfaith Vegan Coalition, and assists with vegan spirituality events. Stick around, I'd like to introduce her to you. Hi, Judy, how are you?
Hi, Nancy. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Is Kansas as cold as it is in New Mexico right now?
It's pretty cold. It's going to be 50 today, though, so I'm looking forward to that. Right now, it's about 35, I think.
Oh, okay. We're at 24, so.
Oh, yeah. You're definitely colder. Yeah.
So, Judy, tell me, how did you come to veganism?
Okay. I was raised in Kansas, and it was pretty much a normal upbringing with plenty of meat, lots of meat on the table. My uncles actually worked in the slaughterhouse in Kansas City, which was right in Kansas City at the time. And it was called, well, it was a slaughterhouse, you know, that's just what it was. And my dad was a big game hunter, and put that in quotes, because animals are not game, and it's not a game to kill them. But nevertheless, he was part of that community. And so there was a lot of heads of animals in the house, animal bodies made into rugs, that sort of thing. But it was all looked upon as kind of heroic, and it was very confusing. So, and I had no idea, as most children don't, that the food we were eating was coming from animals. I know we had peas and potatoes, but there was this other stuff, that's this brown stuff. And I don't know what I thought, but when I was about 10 years old, my parents got some lambs, and I thought they got them for me to be pets. And they had babies, and it was wonderful. I was making friends with them, and I loved them so much. And then one day I came home from school, and they were all gone, all of them. And I was devastated. I wasn't told that they were going to be gone. But, you know, it happened. And a few days later, we were having dinner, and my mother had a leg of lamb on the table, and that's when it hit me that lamb and leg of lamb were connected. That was the leg of a lamb. And I was so horrified, but I didn't know what to do because everybody ate meat. I'd never heard of vegetarians or anything like that. And everybody in my family it was like a really important thing that we could eat meat. It was really, this was back in the 50s. It was really a symbol of being well-to-do. And of course, that goes back to kings and queens and the whole idea that the elite eat a lot of meat and the peasants don't. And not that my parents were elitist in that sense, but I think most of the middle class in the United States at that time, after World War II was over and everybody was celebrating, you know, the good times, and the war is over, and that's never going to happen again, and everything's going to be good now, that we could celebrate by eating more meat. And look what has happened now. It's so massive. So many billions and billions and billions of animals are being killed, and fishes. And so anyway, I didn't find out about veganism for a long time. I tried to not eat meat, but I got pretty sick because I ate a lot of Frosted Flakes instead, and and donuts, and so I didn't do well. And so I thought, well, in my little brain, I guess you do have to eat meat because that's what people are saying. So I did. And then when I got into my 20s and I became an activist for the environment, Greenpeace, all that stuff, a lot of the environmentalists were vegetarian. And I started to learn about it, finding out it was a thing. It was a real thing. You didn't have to eat meat. You could live a healthy life. And so I started learning how to do that. And but I was just vegetarian. I hadn't learned about what happened to cows and chickens, the awful things that happened to them. And so I was just basically substituting cheese and eggs and milk and ice cream, of course, for meat. That was my protein in my head, you know. And for my kids, I had kids at the time. I was raising my kids. And so it took me, I was in my 20s then. And then it took another, I'd say 15 years or so to figure out about veganism. And I have to thank PETA and the many other groups that started getting going back in the 70s for getting the videos out there and showing people what was happening at these farms, these dairy farms and chicken farms. And once you find that out, your heart just breaks, and you just have to go, okay, all right, so what is this veganism? How do we do it? And let's go for it. And so I've been vegan now for about 25 years, and it's wonderful. It's so heavenly, not just because when you're eating that you're not harming anyone, but it does something to your body, I believe, not just to make you healthier physically, but in a spiritual way. I think I really believe it helps you become more compassionate. I think it helps. There's a center in your brain where empathy seems to be when they measure brain waves and that sort of thing. And I really believe that part of your brain grows when you become vegan. And so, and that creates a tremendous well of joy in your being. So
yes, it does. I concur with that. Now, before we go, can you tell me a little bit about your new book, Homo Ahimsa, who we are, really are, and how we're going to save the world?
I sure will. I got the idea, about 20 years ago, I guess, in my book called Peace to All Beings. Wasn't my first book, but anyway. And the idea was Homo sapiens has made a terrible mess in this world. It has lived by the idea that we can dominate whoever we want to, that all the others, all the animals have no feelings, no souls. We're the only ones that matter. We can do what we want to them. And that has not worked. We have made such a mess of this world now that we're in danger of our own survival. And so I thought, maybe a good way to look at this is deep inside of us, we all have the capacity for compassion, for universal love. We don't have to live with the idea that we are going to dominate everything in our path. That our true nature is love. And so I came up with the idea of calling us, our true selves, Homo Ahimsa. We're not Homo sapiens, we're Homo Ahimsa, but it's going to take some work for us to reveal that within ourselves and to the animals and to everyone else. And so that's the basic idea of the book. And my goal is to help people awaken to the beauty of who we are, that we're all connected to all of life, and we have an innate reverence for life, an innate desire to be kind and loving to all life. And so and to be fully expressing that is going to bring us joy, it's going to bring the animals freedom, and it's actually possibly the key to turning around what Homo sapiens has done to this world. We can't fight Homo sapiens and, cause some kind of a war thing here. What we've got to do is create a whole new way of living without domination, in partnership with all of life. So that's why I wrote the book, and I'd love for everyone to read it and share it.
That is awesome.
So thanks for bringing that up.
Oh, that is awesome. And we have to change the stories. We have to change the narrative. We have to get your book, read it, and follow it.
Thanks, Nancy. Yes. I mean, even if you don't get the book, I hope you get the idea to be kind to everyone, to live in partnership with everyone, all animals, all beings, all trees, all of nature. And then we can create the beautiful world. I think that all of us know we can do that in our hearts. So I just thank you, everybody, for listening in on this. And thank you, Nancy, for bringing this to everybody so that we can share these ideas and have hope for the future.
Thank you so much, Judy, for being on the show. I surely appreciate you, and we'll talk to you again.
Okay, great, Bye-bye. Nancy. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of The Vegan Pulse. I am your host, Nancy Arenas. Follow us on Facebook, like us, check out our blog, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and remember, if you have a pulse, you have a purpose. Live vegan.